Pleasure to meet y'all at last, and welcome back to Why Is That? And in all honesties, it's been some time since I last got together and made myself a Why Is That episode. There are quite a lot of questions I still have to answer here at this time, so I feel like it's only appropriate that I got back here at this time because I still only have a couple of weeks left until finally it'll be all over again. But I could say that I've already accomplished a lot by answering everybody's questions here, so of course, please keep them coming if you will, because I do want to pretty much talk a lot about me in general. This next question, however, is going to talk a little bit about Kaiju Force Neo itself, and it is about time that I pretty much gave everybody a proper origin story about it. The question down here asked me, why is that Kaiju Force Neo wasn't originally known as Kaiju Force Neo when it first began? And now, I'd just like to say real quickly that Kaiju Force Neo is something that's been around not just for a few years, not just for the whole decade of the 2010s, but it's been around since way before then. As a matter of fact, it's gone as far back as I could possibly remember when it came to the internet in general. Because of course it had been around for quite a long time. As a matter of fact, it's mostly thanks to Microsoft and Opera, being that they were some of the prime browsers at the time. Internet Explorer, World Wide Web, they were some of the first to start it all. But eventually, Mozilla Firefox, Apple Safari, and Google Chrome, they became some of the prime search engines that we currently use. Although sometimes others like Bing and Yahoo tend to also come around every now and then, but Kaiju Force Neo is something that's been around since New Year's Day of 2005. Yeah. As hard it is to pretty much trust everything that I'm pretty much giving out to everyone out there, it actually is the truth. Although Kaiju Force Neo was not known as Kaiju Force Neo way back in the day because I wasn't necessarily into the Godzilla series, first of all, which kind of gives out that it was the name. That pretty much gave away an opportunity for me to call it something that would have been based off of my die-hard fanship of the Godzilla franchise itself. But seeing as where we are now, with the legendary MonsterVerse pretty much kicking into every day left and right with their Americanized styling of the Godzilla universe, and as a matter of fact, they actually do plan on going even bigger and better than ever. Because after all, Godzilla vs. Kong is on its way to theaters. We still have to wait at least a few more months for that to happen, but until then, the excitement is just going to continue to build up tremendously. Because we waited 58 years for this. I, of course, remember watching it when I was just a really little kid then. It was incredible. Seeing the East battle against the West, American versus Japan, and likewise, it was just staggering with popularity. As big of a cult following as it's gained over the last 58 years, the new one, hopefully, should kick it up a notch and give us a huge insight about what Legendary Pictures is going to bring us for the MonsterVerse come 2021 and onwards. I got a feeling that the rest of the 2020s is pretty much going to be about that. The Legendary MonsterVerse is going to continue to grow even bigger and better. But anyways, Kaiju Force Neo was not known as Kaiju Force Neo back in 2005, and up until around 2009, it was originally known as Wandolph. Yeah, Wandolph. As dumb as a name as that sounds, I mean, that was only because of the fact that, well, I had a rare black fish, and I mean rare, that I had for about a year. Throughout the year 2004, that fish was pretty much one of my biggest responsibilities I've ever had when it came time to have a pet. I was living in a small apartment area at the time throughout most of the mid-2000s, up until around summer 2007, where I'm pretty much now in this building in general. And I've been here since then. But now, I might as well explain a few things around here. I decided to change the name Wandoff to something different because of the fact that, well, for one, I was becoming more and more interested in things other than just, well, toy trains. Yeah. And on top of me just simply growing up out of old interests and looking at new interests left and right, I was also really getting into some pretty darn good education. That was something I really got into over time. I was really becoming a nerd over the years. And I still am to this day. The NCOV pandemic is not going to damage my brain whatsoever. I still know right and wrong. I still know human consciousness. I still know my own instincts. But regardless, Wandoff ended up getting rebranded to Kaiju Force Neo. And some people might actually ask me, why on earth have you had a business since you were 6 years old? Because that's how old I was in 2005. But in general, let me give you a little explanation here. There have been children that we've had in the last 10 years or so that have had their own businesses. There was a young person known as Lexi who actually went ahead and invented something new for water balloon related stuff that happens. And on top of all that, there's been a handful of other child actor related celebrities that have come about. And I'm not just talking about people out there like Finn Wolfhard or the like. I mean, it never stops, really. We're always going to get some of these new child actors coming in and out all over the place. They're still going to keep our lives and our spirits high, no matter what it is. But in general, I might as well conclude this with the fact that Kaiju Force Neo was originally known as Wandoff because of the fact that, well, the rare black fish known as Wanda at the time ended up succumbing to death pretty early in its lifetime. It lived for barely a whole year. Yeah. As crazy as that is, it's true. I had a rare black fish called Wanda in 2004, and by the end of the year, it just died. So, it only makes sense for a business of mine to start as just a little memoriam for a rare black fish, because after all, I'm emphasizing here on the word rare. That species of fish was almost on the brink of extinction back then. They started to repopulate pretty good, though, throughout the last 20 years or so. It's gotten even better now, just like with the bald eagle population is starting to repopulate because of a lack of pollution and the like. A lot of us have been trying to start investing in clean energy and the like, and most of the time we were pretty successful at it. Thanks to the Janicki Omni processor, thanks to, well, the usage of solar power or hydrothermal power or wind power or otherwise. Basically power sources that aren't going to interfere with our environment. But you know what? Looking back at how successful Kaiju Force Neo has become since 2005, I'm very, very shocked at how absolutely big the amount of attention I've had has grown. Especially since my Twitter account had been removed from existence last December. It's been a while since then, but wow. A lot of people are really starting to show support for my work. Especially because of how big my channel has been getting lately. I've had a lot of new comments, a lot of new likes, viewership, and the like. I don't know about you, but I'm very confident in going towards a goal that may be way ahead of me, but in due time, I will get to that spot. So, until then, I'm pretty much just going to have a lot of other questions here to answer, so that's pretty much all you need to know there. Kaiju Force Neo was originally a memoriam for a dead fish. It eventually grew to be an official name brand that I've had with me all these years. And, of course, I'm still going to have a lot to do here for the rest of my natural life, hopefully. The day I die will be the day where I hand it over to someone else. But of course, there's a lot of work that I want to do with it before I even think about dying. So that's pretty much it here for Why Is That. And I'm going to have a lot of other new questions here to answer, so stick around for those. And if you want to see more, go down to my channel. Make sure that you like, subscribe, comment, follow me on social media, and stay on the Hollywood side.